if my mom were going in, you know, it would be the same thing. And she's been in 2 nursing homes. The last one, I told Greg, she's coming home with me, or I'm going to be in the bed next to her. And he goes, what? And she was out in 4 days. And has lived with me, and I think it has made a big difference in the way her life has continued. And she giggles, she smiles, and she goes every place. When you all were putting her to sleep, because kidding, because she thought she was the star today, okay, and she had to listen to that, and she thought I would just rest. So anyway, but that's what I'm going to talk about. I would also like to bring up the subject of caregivers and how caregivers, you know, are good for a period of time, but then they need to move on because they become so attached to the patient that it makes for not a good relationship. And well, I can go
that's not a warning. I think. I think that experience.
No, but I think it was an experience that we just recently addressed, and things have been much better since we addressed those issues.
The link seems to be improving.
Yes.
I think one issue, as I said, we'll talk more about that because this is a part we can do this in Dynasty B at 3:30. Janice, though, can show you some documentaries that she has done with regard to mother. What you'll find out when she says she's active, Zuling has been on 2 cruises the last year. She goes everywhere. This is probably a little early for her. She's kind of a party girl. She'll probably want to go out later. She is someone who, since she has left the quote-unquote nursing home, which was one of the best we could find, she wasn't talking at the time. She really wasn't eating very much. Now she sort of sings, she talks, she likes to engage. So I think part of it is realizing in the American culture, we have a tendency when someone gets older to find a quote comfortable place with a fireplace, and it makes us feel good when we sort of put them there. But I think what happens is when you go back later, you sort of realize that some of those same caregivers have left and are now working at Burger King, which pays them about the same rate. And you can find your loved one either in the floor or sitting in a puddle of urine. And these are some of the best places. If you compare it to other cultures, such as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and some of those that you come from, you can find that at this stage in life, you know, the family member is very valued, that you would never put them somewhere else. So I think it's very intriguing from a health communication perspective, just how we look at not only age, but also various chapters. We tend to medicate, over-medicate to the point of if we can just keep them sleeping, then they're okay. What we've been doing is getting her off each of these pills, and what we find is that she's much more energized. So this is going to be much more of a personal dialectical encounter at 3:30, which will complement some of the other panels and presentations that we have on public diplomacy. How about, Phil, if we ask for succinct and pithy comments from our critics, how about Ali as well as Tony, and then any of you people? I'd like to thank you for coming. What an engaging group of researchers we had today, so congratulations for all of you who presented.
I believe we listened to several good presentations, and they complement each other, and it tells us that, as we say in Arabic, and I will translate it to English, little of protection is much better than tons of treatment. قليل من الوقاية خير من طال العلاج. That's what we say in Arabic. So that's the theme exactly. I try to summarize the theme of these presentations. First, let me start with Dr. LeBlanc, my colleague. He came up with sophisticated statistical techniques to show the reliability, and analyzed 28 ads. That was a wonderful effort, and about the impact of literacy. And then, do you have some recommendations for future?
Yeah, dumb down the ads.
What
Chris, he addressed managing communication in the healthcare organization, and it was a nice case studies and how messages transfer from top to bottom. He added more insight to it. I hope you will add more case studies in the future. There's only one single case study in an institution. Dr. McFarland, she talked about the social media. She addressed the literacy level and its relation to the use of social media. I like the things that you recommended, the 5 things you recommended to the social media that they can do. And did you mention that we cannot use technology all the time? That's what you said. Well, sometimes technology backfires. And Professor John, I was very impressed with the model that you used and how you used it. I hope it will be implemented with other situations as well. Dr. Nada, I commend you for your effort, not just about, it is very difficult to promote health communication in conservative society such as Saudi Arabia. I commend you because you are trying, I can read between the lines, and you try to modernize Saudi Arabia, especially with the use of art. I can see it, and this is continuation of what we did last year. I don't know if you were here last, if you were at IABD conference last year. She was the keynote speaker, and she did a tremendous job. Was it hard for you to get the sample of 136 Arabic websites?
That was actually a study I didn't do. It was somebody else that did. But the themes from that study were just you can extract that there was not a lot pertaining to health, but more of the games and the storytelling and that kind of thing. So that's why I kind of realized that there's a deficiency in that category, and implementation of health websites is definitely needed.
I hope you will continue your effort. You are the real ambassador to Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
And thank you for Dr. Payne, who has been recruiting speakers and bringing students to IABD. Dr. Payne should have been the president of Edison College. That's what I can say.
Time to end the session.